Hey everyone, Mystery Chronicles. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into some of the most intriguing and mysterious stories from around the world. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The year is 1692. A chill settles over Salem, a small village in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Winter's grip tightens, but a different kind of chill chills the hearts of its inhabitants. It is a fear that whispers on the wind, a fear that twists familiar faces into masks of suspicion. The world is a precarious place for these devout Puritans. Life is harsh on the edge of the wilderness. Dangers lurk in the untamed forests, and the threat of disease and starvation is ever present. The community clings tightly to its faith, finding solace and strength in their unwavering belief in God's will. Yet, in the shadows of their piety, a darkness stirs. Fear and superstition intertwine, creating a potent mixture that will soon boil over. The villagers believe in the constant presence of the devil, forever seeking souls to corrupt. They fear his insidious influence, his ability to disguise himself among them, to turn neighbor against neighbor. This fear, simmering beneath the surface of their daily lives, will soon erupt with devastating consequences. The Salem Witch Trials are about to begin. It begins subtly, with whispers and strange occurrences. Young girls, the vulnerable daughters of Salem, start to exhibit bizarre behavior. They suffer fits, contort their bodies in unnatural positions, and cry out in voices not their own. Fear spreads like wildfire through the close-knit community. What could possibly explain this sudden and terrifying affliction? The village doctor is consulted, but his remedies offer no relief. The girl's torment continues, growing more dramatic with each passing day. Desperate for answers, the community turns to the supernatural. The whispers intensify, swirling around the afflicted girls like a malevolent wind. Fingers point to Sarah Good, a beggar woman known for her sharp tongue and disregard for societal norms. They accuse Sarah Osborne, an outcast who defies convention and lives with a man out of wedlock. Tituba, a slave of Reverend Samuel Parris, whose stories of witchcraft and voodoo have captivated the young girls, is also caught in the net of suspicion. The accusations are like sparks igniting tinder. What began as whispers quickly escalates into a wildfire of fear and paranoia. The devil, it seems, has come to Salem. For the Puritans, the line between the spiritual and earthly realms is blurred. They see the hand of God in every aspect of their lives, from the bounty of the harvest to the harshness of the winter. Their faith is their bedrock, their guiding light in a world they perceive as fraught with danger. But this unwavering faith also carries a dark side, a deep-seated fear of the devil and his insidious power. The Salem Witch Trials are not merely a historical anomaly. They're a chilling manifestation of the complex interplay between faith, fear, and the human need for order in a chaotic world. The Puritans, faced with the unexplainable, sought answers within the framework of their belief system. Their rigid worldview, coupled with the harsh realities of life in the New World, created a pressure cooker of paranoia. In their minds, the devil was a tangible threat, capable of infiltrating their community and corrupting their souls. And so, they embarked on a relentless pursuit of those they believed to be in league with the devil. A pursuit fueled by fear, fueled by faith, and fueled by a desperate need to cleanse their community from the perceived threat of evil. The stage is set for a tragedy that will forever stain the annals of American history. The darkness that would engulf Salem Village didn't descend all at once. It crept in slowly, like a chilling fog, rolling in from the sea, settling first on the fringes of the community. The initial accusations targeted individuals deemed social outcasts, the impoverished, the eccentric, those who lived on the margins of Puritan society, and challenged its rigid norms. Sarah Good, a homeless woman known for her sharp tongue and unpredictable nature, became an easy target for suspicion. Her name, whispered alongside accusations of witchcraft, sent shivers down the spines of even the most skeptical villagers. Sarah Osborne, ostracized for her unconventional lifestyle and rumored to dabble in fortune-telling, also found herself caught in the web of fear. Tituba, an enslaved woman owned by Reverend Samuel Parris, became a focal point of the burgeoning hysteria. Her captivating stories of voodoo and witchcraft, shared with the young girls in Parris's household, were twisted into confessions of demonic pacts. The girls, already exhibiting strange and disturbing behaviors, became the primary accusers, their claims fueling the growing flames of suspicion. As accusations escalated, so too did the pressure to identify and punish those responsible for the perceived demonic affliction gripping Salem. The first trials, held in the spring of 1692, marked the beginning of a descent into madness that would forever scar the community. The young girls at the heart of the Salem Witch Trials were more than just witnesses. They were the accusers, the afflicted, the living embodiments of the fear and paranoia that swept through the community. Their strange fits and claims of spectral attacks fueled the flames of hysteria. Abigail Williams emerged as a leader among the afflicted girls. Her dramatic outbursts held a powerful sway over the community. Ann Putnam Jr., Mercy Lewis, and Mary Walcott joined Abigail in her accusations. These girls, products of a society steeped in religious fervor, held the fate of Salem in their hands. And in the Salem Witch Trials, spectral evidence became a cornerstone of the court proceedings. The girls' vivid imaginations and accusations left the accused defenseless. Judges accepted the spectral evidence, transforming the trials into a witch hunt. Fear and paranoia allowed accusations to flourish unchecked. The court's reliance on superstition set a dangerous precedent. The Salem Witch Trials were not solely fueled by religious fervor and paranoia. Beneath the surface lay personal grievances, social tensions, and long-standing feuds. Accusations exposed fault lines within the Salem community. Neighbors accused neighbors. Driven by jealousy and revenge, Property disputes and personal slights fueled the flames. Trials provided a platform for personal vendettas. The accused became scapegoats for the community's anxieties. Their independence marked them as targets. The trials exposed the darker side of human nature. Personal animosity transformed the community into a battleground. As the summer of 1692 approached, the situation in Salem Village spiraled further into madness. The accusations, once limited to the fringes of society, now targeted prominent members of the community. Reverend George Burroughs, a respected minister, found himself accused of witchcraft. His prior conflicts with parishioners used as evidence against him. Rebecca Nurse, a devout and well-respected woman, faced accusations that shocked the community, highlighting the indiscriminate nature of the escalating hysteria. The court, fueled by the fervor of the accusers and the unwavering belief in spectral evidence, handed down guilty verdicts with alarming frequency. Imprisonment, often in deplorable conditions, became the fate of the accused. Their pleas for reason and justice drowned out by the chorus of fear and fanaticism. The trials, once a means of rooting out evil, transformed into a grotesque spectacle, a public display of paranoia and persecution that gripped the entire community in its thrall. The weight of the accusations, the constant fear of arrest, and the chilling testimonies of the afflicted girls created an atmosphere of suffocating tension. Neighbors turned on neighbors, friends betrayed friends, and the very fabric of Salem Village unraveled under the strain of suspicion and fear. The community, once bound by faith and common purpose, found itself fractured and broken, consumed by the flames of its own making. As the accusations of witchcraft in Salem Village escalated, the existing court system proved inadequate. Governor William Phips established the Court of Oyer and Terminer in 1692. Tasked with trials for the accused, it soon became entangled in fear and paranoia. The court, fueled by dubious evidence, became a tool for persecution. Its proceedings are a cautionary tale of justice gone astray. Judge Samuel Sewall, a prominent figure in the Salem Witch Trials, remains a figure of moral complexity. A devout Puritan, Sewall believed himself an instrument of God's will. His diary reveals his struggle with the trial's moral complexities. Sewall's introspection set him apart. He questioned spectral evidence, but upheld the law. Years later, he publicly confessed his role in the injustices. In 1697, he expressed deep remorse before his church. Sewall's story highlights the power of conscience and redemption. Tituba, an enslaved woman owned by Reverend Samuel Parris, played a pivotal role in the Salem Witch Trials. Her stories of voodoo and witchcraft fueled the imaginations of young girls, leading to hysteria. Accused and coerced into confessing, Tituba's testimony ignited the witch hunt. Her story underscores the power dynamics and prejudices of the time. As the trials progressed, a chilling pattern began to emerge. The accused, subjected to relentless questioning, often confessed to crimes they did not commit. These confessions, often coerced, ensnared more innocent individuals. The court, eager for confirmations, failed to recognize coercive tactics. The accused, facing imprisonment or death, saw confession as their only hope. They implicated others to save themselves, fueling hysteria. The confessions, often fantastical, reflected a community consumed by fear. Accused individuals concocted tales of demonic pacts to escape imprisonment. These confessions created a climate of suspicion and distrust in Salem Village. The reliance on dubious confessions perpetuated accusations and persecution. The court, blinded by prejudice, set a dangerous precedent for justice. Bridget Bishop, known for her independent spirit, was the first victim of the Salem Witch Trials. Her trial highlighted personal vendettas and societal prejudices. Accused of bewitching young women, she faced numerous accusations. Witnesses claimed she controlled animals and told fortunes. Despite her pleas, she was condemned. On June 10, 1692, Bridget Bishop was hanged, the first martyr of Salem. The Salem Witch Trials arose from the rigid worldview of the Puritans in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Fleeing persecution, they sought to create a society governed by their faith. Their lives revolved around the Bible. They believed in the constant presence of God and the devil. This belief infused daily life with spiritual peril. Events were seen as signs of divine favor or demonic influence. Their faith cast a shadow of fear over the community. The devil was believed to lurk in the shadows. The Puritans lived in constant fear of his influence. The wilderness was a spiritual battleground. The unknown became fertile ground for superstition and fear. The Puritans' belief in the supernatural shaped their perceptions and actions. They saw the devil's hand in misfortunes, illnesses, and conflicts. Sermons emphasized Satan's power, creating fear and suspicion. Stories of witchcraft abounded, often featuring women as instruments of the devil. The wilderness was seen as a breeding ground for evil. The Salem Witch Trials were fueled by underlying social tensions and divisions. Resentments, rivalries, and conflicts simmered beneath the surface of piety. Land disputes and economic disparities created divisions. Social hierarchies left some vulnerable to accusations. The trials became a stage for personal vendettas. The tragedy unraveled the social fabric of the community. The Salem Witch Trials reveal the vulnerability of women in a patriarchal society. Accusations of witchcraft controlled and punished women who deviated from norms. The trials exposed deep-seated misogyny and anxieties in Puritan society. Women were expected to be submissive and pious. Independent women were often labeled as troublesome or possessed. The trials punished women for challenging the patriarchal order. The legacy of Salem warns against unchecked patriarchy and enduring misogyny. In Salem, fear and faith intertwined with frontier life. The pursuit of land and family legacies fueled witchcraft accusations. Property disputes and economic anxieties turned neighbors into accusers. The trials exposed the dark side of a society, grappling with scarcity, personal vendettas, and economic rivalries often triumphed over truth. The summer of 1692 saw the Salem Witch Trials reach their terrifying zenith. Amidst the fervor and fear, voices of dissent began to question the validity of the accusations and the methods employed by the court. Reverend John Hale, initially a supporter, grew skeptical. He witnessed the escalating hysteria and flimsy evidence. Hale's doubts marked a turning point, signaling a shift in public opinion. As the summer of 1692 ended, the Salem Witch Trials became a political and social quagmire for Governor William Phips. Phips faced mounting criticism, doubts about the accusations, and the unsettling realization that his own wife had been named a witch. The trials, initially a local matter, had spiraled into a colony-wide controversy, threatening Phips' authority. The turning point came with the accusation against his wife, Lady Mary Phips, forcing him to confront the reality that the trials had spun out of control. In October 1692, Phips ordered a halt to further arrests and disbanded the court of Oyer and Terminer. He established a new court with stricter rules of evidence and a greater emphasis on due process. These actions marked a turning point, signaling a shift away from spectral evidence and unchecked power. Even as the tide turned against the Salem Witch Trials, injustice continued to haunt the community. Giles Corey, an elderly farmer, refused to enter a plea to prevent the court from seizing his property. Under English common law, those who refused to plead could be subjected to pain fort et dure, a form of torture. For 2 days, Corey endured the agonizing weight of stones. His only words, more weight. On September 19th, 1692, Giles Corey died, his body crushed beneath the weight of injustice. Corey's defiant stand became a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to resist tyranny and injustice. Increased Martyr, a prominent minister, emerged as a voice of reason against the hysteria of the Salem Witch Trials. Initially cautious, Martyr grew troubled by the court's reliance on spectral evidence. In October 1692, Martyr published a treatise arguing against the use of spectral evidence and urging caution. He argued it was better to risk letting a guilty party go free than to condemn an innocent person. Martyr's treatise had a profound impact on public opinion, helping to shift the tide against the trials. His willingness to challenge the prevailing narrative marked a turning point, paving the way for a more critical examination of the Accusations. By the end of 1692, the Salem Witch Trials had effectively come to an end. The jails, once overflowing with the accused, were gradually emptied as charges were dropped and confessions recanted. The trials ended in exhaustion, disillusionment, and a growing recognition of the injustices committed. The aftermath was a time of profound soul-searching for Salem Village and the surrounding communities. The trials forced the Puritans to confront the darker aspects of their own nature and the climate ripe for persecution and injustice. Formal apologies were issued, restitution was paid, and steps were taken to reform the legal system. The Salem Witch Trials became a catalyst for reflection, reform, and a renewed commitment to justice and due process. The dust settled slowly over Salem Village, both literally and figuratively. The community grappled with the chilling reality of its actions and the weight of 20 innocent lives lost. The silence that followed the frenzy of accusations was deafening, broken only by whispers of guilt and shame. The physical reminders of the trials served as a constant, haunting reminder of the darkness that had gripped Salem. The trials exposed a dangerous undercurrent within the Puritan experiment, the potential for fear to warp even the most devout hearts. The community, founded on principles of piety and brotherly love, had become a breeding ground for suspicion and violence. The trials left an indelible mark on Salem, one that would linger for generations. The task ahead was to reconcile with the ghosts of the past and forge a new path forward, grounded in reflection and justice. The process of healing from the Salem Witch Trials was slow and arduous. In the years that followed, voices of remorse began to emerge. Jurors and Judge Samuel Sewall publicly expressed their remorse and sought forgiveness. Attempts at restitution, while well-intentioned, often fell short of providing true closure. Financial compensation acknowledged the wrongs committed, but could not compensate for the loss of life or enduring stigma. The scars of the trials ran deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of justice. The pursuit of justice became a complex and often frustrating endeavor, haunted by unresolved grievances. The Salem Witch Trials had a profound impact on the perception of witchcraft in the Western world. The trials sowed the seeds of doubt that led to a more skeptical understanding of witchcraft accusations. The flimsy evidence and reliance on spectral testimony contributed to a growing unease with traditional methods. The Enlightenment began to take hold, challenging the religious worldview that had underpinned the witch hunts. The trials served as a cautionary tale, reminding of the dangers of succumbing to superstition. They helped usher in a new era of reason and a more nuanced understanding of human behavior. The Salem Witch Trials hold a disturbing relevance to the present day. They reveal uncomfortable truths about the human capacity for cruelty and mob mentality. The echoes of Salem can be heard throughout history, in various forms of persecution and injustice. The trials remind us that the pursuit of justice can be easily derailed by prejudice and fear. They urge us to guard against the erosion of due process and the right to dissent. The ghosts of Salem remind us that the past is a living presence, capable of both haunting and inspiring us to create a better future. The Salem Witch Trials highlight the dangers of abandoning justice and due process. Fear and prejudice led to a miscarriage of justice, condemning innocence. This tragedy underscores the need for vigilance in protecting individual rights and ensuring a fair justice system. The Unquiet Ghosts of Salem, a legacy of lessons. The Salem Witch Trials cast a long shadow over our collective consciousness. The events of 1692 remind us of the fragility of justice and the dangers of fear and paranoia. The ghosts of Salem walk among us still. Their stories, a haunting reminder of intolerance and unchecked authority. The legacy of Salem is also one of resilience and the importance of challenging injustice. The lessons learned helped shape American jurisprudence, emphasizing due process and individual rights. The Crucible of Conscience, confronting the darkness within. The Salem Witch Trials reveal the unsettling truth of human nature, our capacity for both good and evil. Even those motivated by piety can become instruments of persecution when swept up in fear and groupthink. The trials reflect our darker nature, the potential for cruelty and mob mentality. The seeds of Salem lie dormant within us, awakened by fear and crisis. Ordinary people, driven by fear and social pressure, committed these acts. To learn from Salem, we must confront the darkness within ourselves. Could we, too, be swayed by fear and pressure to conform? Are we willing to speak out against injustice, even when it's unpopular? Are we committed to fairness and due process, even in crisis? The Crucible of Conscience is a place of discomfort and self-reflection. In this crucible, we forge the strength to prevent the ghosts of Salem from rising again. Beyond the shadows of Salem. Embracing reason, safeguarding justice. The Salem Witch Trials, etched in memory, remind us of reason's power and the importance of critical thinking. They catalyze change, moving away from superstition and persecution. The Enlightenment emphasized logic, challenging old world views. Salem's legacy is one of progress and justice. It teaches us to protect individual rights and challenge injustice. The journey beyond Salem requires vigilance and courage. The enduring relevance of Salem. A warning from the past. The Salem Witch Trials, though seemingly relegated to history, hold an unsettling relevance today. They remind us of the enduring power of fear, paranoia, and scapegoating in times of crisis. The trials reveal uncomfortable truths about human cruelty and mob mentality. Echoes of Salem whisper in the shadows of persecution and injustice. From witch hunts to McCarthyism, fear fuels scapegoating and the erosion of liberties. In our era of rapid change, the lessons of Salem resonate with chilling familiarity. Social media amplifies fear and misinformation, creating echo chambers. The Salem Witch Trials warn us to guard against forces that erode justice. Justice requires vigilance, critical thinking, and courage to speak out. The ghosts of Salem call us to honor their memory by safeguarding fairness and due process. In the pursuit of a more just future, remembering Salem, honoring its victims. The Salem Witch Trials serve as a beacon, guiding us toward a more just and equitable future. The trials offer a reminder that even in the darkest times, progress is possible. Salem's legacy is one of resilience, reform, and safeguarding justice. To honor Salem's victims, we must embrace their lessons and strive for a just world. Let us build a society where reason triumphs over fear and justice prevails.